So right quick before we jump into this video, I would like to announce that in celebration of obtaining 100 subs on YouTube, for those of you that are even remotely interested in having a copy of Modern Warfare and you simply don't own the game yet, I am doing a giveaway on Twitter. So if you look at the bottom left hand corner of your screen, my Twitter handle is listed down there. So give me a follow on Twitter and you will learn about how you can win a free copy of Modern Warfare before Christmas rolls around. I will be retweeting these instructions constantly. So if you are interested, once again, just give me a follow on Twitter if you haven't already, because I do like to post frequent updates on what's going on with my channel, and there you can learn how you can win a free copy of Modern Warfare. Once again, thank you guys for the 100 subs. I couldn't be more grateful. Furthermore, if you find today's video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please feel free to drop a like on this video and hit that subscribe button with post notifications turned on if you haven't already. And if you find yourself coming back to this channel for more content, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, without a doubt, the most used weapon in the game is the MP5, and it's pretty understandable why. It's pretty well rounded, has pretty solid accuracy and pretty solid range, but I feel like people should kind of scale back a little bit because all of the SMGs in the game, especially with some of the buzz that's been going on since the game's release, they are pretty solid weapons. So in today's video, I will be covering the P90. Now, I know that this weapon has been covered quite a bit by a whole lot of other YouTubers, but at the end of the day, these are our personal preferences, so I will be showing you guys my personal preference as far as what attachments I like to use for the weapon. Now, some of you guys, y'all like to get straight to the point, so I will go ahead and show you this list right now so you guys will know that I like to run, so that way you don't have to sit here watching this video, hear me rambling on for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, for the rest of you guys, I will show you guys why I run this setup. This is focusing on recoil. We want to limit as much recoil as we possibly can. This class setup, if you take away the recoil of this weapon, it absolutely melts, it absolutely shreds. Now, it doesn't have the accuracy that the MP5 has, but at the same time, this weapon is not at all hard to use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into a more detailed version of my attachments. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the attachments that I'm running with the P90. Now, this class setup mostly focuses on decreasing as much recoil as I possibly can, but the true X factor comes from the barrel attachment. I'm running the Forged Tac Retribution. Basically, this increases the range, so for the most part, I'm able to comfortably engage in the long-range gunfights. As you can see, the pros are the damage range, the bullet velocity, and the recoil control, which is a plus because it focuses on what I want to do with this weapon anyway and negate recoil. The cons are obviously the ADS and the movement speed. I'm not too concerned with that because what I've noticed is with the SMGs, you get a pretty good, decent amount of ADS speed. For the underbarrel, I'm running the stipple grip tape for recoil control and aiming stability. For the rear grip, I'm running granulated grip tape for aiming stability and aim walking steadiness. For the stock, I'm running the fly strap for sprint to fire speed and aim walking movement speed. Now, this is personal preference. On an optic, I'm using the GI Mini Reflex. It's kind of a crutch optic for me, and I usually run this on all of my class setups. But if I don't want to use it at any particular given time, then I'll just take that away, come over to my perks, and I'll either use the sleight of hand, or I will use FMJ, or I'll use frangible disabling. Sometimes I'll run fully loaded, but because the P90 already has a large ammo pool to begin with, I don't necessarily recommend it. But if you want as much ammo as you possibly can at the start of the match, then yeah, by all means, go for it. In my hands is the base P90 before I put the attachments on there. I want you guys to take a look at the recoil of the base P90 before I put the attachments on it. I'm just gonna let loose on it. I'm not gonna pull down slightly on the right thumbstick like we've all been taught. So phase 1. Just look at how much it kicks upward. I'm going to do it one more time. Now we're going to do the same exact thing with the P90. This time I have all of my attachments on there. I want you to take a look. Once again. Now, when the game first released, there were so many videos on YouTube about the predictive recoil on these weapons. We all know that it's there. When you're firing your weapon, you see that it has a pretty nice jump upward, as I demonstrated with the base P90, which would be those 2 shots on the left side. Then the 2 shots on the right, we still get a nice little kick upward, but this is with all the attachments. So we accomplished our goal in kind of counteracting some of that recoil with our attachments, but that's only 50% of the battle. So there's more YouTube videos out there on how to counteract some of that recoil, and that's slightly tilting down on the right thumbstick when you're firing at your target to get a tighter shot group, so that way you can completely counteract that recoil altogether. Now, this is if you have pretty consistent aiming mechanics. I'll go ahead and demonstrate in the next slide on what happens once you just slightly tilt down on the right thumbstick. Now, if you're pulling down slightly on the right thumbstick like we've all been taught to do, then you're going to notice a tighter shot groove. And so there you have it, all of the recoil. The first one would be the recoil with the base P90. The middle section is the recoil with the P90 for all the attachments. And then on the far right would be the recoil with the P90 once you're slightly tilting down on the left thumbstick. You don't have to jerk it all the way down. You just give it a slight love tap and look at how tight that shot group is. Now, once you apply all of this within the game, you will notice how quick you drop your enemy. It'll take about, I think it's a 4-shot kill with the P90 to drop your enemy, but it has a higher firing rate than the MP5 does, so you will be able to take them down a lot quicker. But once again, this is with solid aiming mechanics. Now, I'm sure you've heard this so many other times, but once you get the class setup going, I highly suggest going into a bot lobby in custom games and just practicing against bots. This is something that I'm doing more and more often before I hop online to begin with, because the game is a little more difficult than it has been in the past 3 years with all the other COD titles. But as you can see here, it doesn't matter which range I'm at or whether I'm close range and I've got a hip fire, you will see that you barely notice any recoil whatsoever. It almost looks like that you're using an aimbot. Now, like I said, this weapon, it doesn't have the accuracy of the MP5. It doesn't have the range of the MP5, but once you get comfortable with it, once you start developing a familiarity level with it, you will hardly even notice the difference. Like I said, it's got the 4-shot kill, but once again, it's something that you don't really notice, because if you're staying on target, if you're practicing good aiming habits, you will drop your enemies quicker and faster. Here's a clip of a nice little streak that I went on while using the P90. It'll pretty much cover everything that I've covered in the video to this point. Now, first you will see the long range engagement. Like I said, if you're comfortable with this weapon, you can engage in long range, and that still had virtually no recoil. I get another kill right there from a solid range. I get a couple of close range to hip fire kills there, and with the higher fire rate, this just works in my favor here. That guy goes down. And we're playing headquarters, so I'm sitting over here sticking close to the objective as much as I can. Now, the enemies, they're going to start pinching us, so I kind of go out swinging here. I'm kind of like a black Tony Montana here. So I get a cheap kill right here. I hit the corner. I don't know how that guy didn't see me. He could have killed me a long time ago. So I'm going to take this person out. I'm going to take this person out. I'm going to take this person out with hip fire. And then I get one last little kill here. Squeeze this one out before I get killed in an engagement that I probably should have been able to win if I wasn't so reckless. So that's going to cover it for today's video. Once again, I feel like the P90 is a good alternative to the overused MP5. This is not me trying to keep any of you guys from using it. If that is your favorite SMG, like I said, we all have our personal preferences. But if you scale back, you want to experiment with any other weapon, I grinded this out during Double XP weekend, maxed it out, and this is the class setup that I would be using in the long run, because I play a lot of the Shoot House playlist, so this pretty much works for me. But once again, if you found any of this information helpful, useful in any way, please feel free to hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on if you find yourself coming back to this channel. Once again, thank you guys for the 100 subs. I will see you guys in the next one. This is your boy Rob James. Peace.